Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Man, what a time to be a fan. TMNT has been around for decades now, with their first comic book issue being released back in 1984. The franchise reach, without argue, is the peak of its popularity and cultural relevance with the 1987 cartoon series, which was absolutely instrumental in cementing the Turtles as the long-lasting powerhouse we see today. That show laid the foundation for the core of the Turtles, even going as far as giving them their unique color mask that they still rock to this very day, regardless of the many iterations and reimaginings of the Turtles we've seen over the years, with the 2003 version being the version I grew up with and also my absolute favorite. The Turtles continue to have a wholesome, vibrant charm that makes them unique and stand tall as a reliable source of fun that anyone can enjoy. This takes us to the TMNT video games, which there's absolutely no shortage of. I've played most of the mainstream ones, namely the main three that were based on the 2003 cartoon, as well as some of the other adaptations like the 2007 movie tie-in games that I still enjoy to this very day. Due to the franchise's long history, it's understandable that not every game was the most stellar. I definitely enjoyed the aforementioned 2003 games. I've dropped hundreds of hours into them, and playing them with my cousin was the most fun I experienced in my childhood. The Turtles mean a lot to me, and they always have, be it comics, TV shows, games, etc. So needless to say, when TMNT Shredder's Revenge was announced in March of last year, 2021, my excitement was immeasurable. Leading up to this game's release, I was relentlessly checking every day to see if they'd finally announce a release date for this game. That announcement finally came during Summer Game Fest on June 9th, where they revealed that not only will the game officially come out on June 16th, but that Casey Jones, a fan favorite character, will be joining the party. This kicked everything into high gear. Hype was at an all-time high, and a week later, the game finally came out. And oh my god, was it everything I wanted and more. First, the visuals. The game is absolutely gorgeous. It's expertly crafted with so much love and care, packed to the brim with details and beautiful artwork that makes the first experience so breathtaking and captivating. The absolute care and thought they put into every detail, every pixel, every background animation, every visual gag with the various foot soldiers, every environment, it's utterly baffling. And the passion and adoration for the franchise is palpable and electrifying. Sure, in every mission you go from left to right and take out enemies that come your way, that's the core of the game. But the game's diverse environments and stage designs give every single stage a distinct personality that makes you want to come back to it over and over again. Speaking of taking out enemies that come your way, let's talk about the combat here. This was the most surprising aspect of the game for me. I was expecting a fairly rudimentary gameplay style that just promotes button mashing and brute forcing your way through the levels. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. This game is littered with a rich variety of enemies that behave differently and thus require different approaches from the player. You have your purple foot soldiers, which act as this game's most basic enemy type. As you go on, you'll start meeting a wide variety of foot soldiers, signified by their different colors, that behave differently and have different immunities and attack patterns. Some of them, for example, are immune to getting grabbed and will push you off if you try to throw them. Some of them can block your attacks, which prompts you to either charge a heavy swing that goes through their guard, or just jump behind them and continue your combo if you'd rather not kill your momentum. Others can not only block your attack, but they can counter you with an attack of their own immediately after you strike. Keeping these various nuances in mind when fighting waves of enemies makes every combat interaction engaging and very exciting, and you'll genuinely feel like a badass when you clear rooms of enemies very stylishly without getting hit. In order to incentivize replaying these stages, each stage comes with 3 challenges that you can complete. These can range in difficulty from just tossing like 5 enemies at the screen to completing an entire level without getting hit, the latter of which being the single hardest challenge in this game. I think these challenges are awesome. Some of them are especially creative and can have you play in a different style than what you'd usually go for. Even the harder ones, like finishing a level unharmed, make it imperative for you to learn these levels and how these enemies work. They'll have you plan your moves carefully and come up with strategies to take these challenges down, studying the boss's attack patterns so that you know when the best times to attack are, or identifying when you can use a taunt to charge your meter so you can deal big damage later without getting hit. These are things that come with repeated playthroughs of the game, and you'll feel very accomplished when you beat a tricky stage without getting hit on your own after many attempts. I personally found replaying these levels to be an absolutely fun and engaging time. It never once got tedious or annoying. I never felt robbed or cheated due to any unfair mechanics. Everything is laid out perfectly fairly, and it's on you to make these minor improvements and utilize your character effectively to get that win. It also helps that the soundtrack is one of the best I've ever listened to, which makes replaying some of these levels an even better time. Episode 8, Panic in the Sky, might be my favorite level in the whole game, and that's in part thanks to the absolutely blood-pumping and thrilling song that plays in the background. Like, the level is already a blast to play thanks to the wonderful sprite work, the enemies, and the gorgeous background imagery and animations. Slapping that song on top of it is the icing on this wonderful cake. As I mentioned earlier, playing some of these TMNT games with my cousin is some of my favorite childhood memories, and I'm happy to report that this game doesn't disappoint at all with its co-op. Up to 6 people can play this game at once, be it locally or online, which is absolutely insane. I've played a fair bit with my brother and it was a blast. We finished arcade mode together and it was a lot of fun. We even joined some random people online and played some missions together and it was a thrilling experience. The game dynamically adjusts the number of enemies, their aggression levels, and their difficulty in real time based on the number of players. This was something intentionally done by the developers in order to ensure that regardless of how hectic or chaotic it gets on screen, no player will feel left out and everyone can find something to actively participate in. A cute mechanic they added is the ability to cheer up your team member, which gives some HP points to the character you high-five. This really further emphasizes how wholesome and just fun this game is. Getting your friends up when they fall down, giving them an HP boost, doing combo attacks together. It's all so unapologetically Ninja Turtles, and it's what made this franchise so lovable and adored by many since that very first cartoon series back in the 80s. The only negative I've come across during my playthrough is exclusive only to online play. There are times where I've joined lobbies with people where my game seemed to not load properly. I can see actions happening on my screen, I can see what I can only assume is other players doing stuff, but there are times where I have failed to load in myself. Again, this is exclusive only to online play and it could get ironed out in a future update, especially because these issues weren't exactly common, but they were frequent enough that I had to mention them. Since the game came out, I've dropped over 20 hours into it. I've been actively trying to get every achievement as well as finishing every single challenge on every stage this game has to offer. This game offers a lot of content, and a lot of fun challenges that will definitely hold your interest and keep you occupied. The story mode itself is very simple and charming in its own lovable way, but the rest of the game is more than worthy of exploration and trying. This game is about as perfect as it gets when it comes to executing on its vision. It's set out to be a spiritual successor of the classic Turtles in Time arcade game, and it delivers beautifully on that. It's a modern reimagining of a cultural icon that is packed to the brim with love and care from everyone who had a hand in realizing this vision and delivering this product. To everyone who made this game, thank you very much for your passion and care. To everyone watching this, I recommend you at least try this game. You will not regret it. TMNT Shredder's Revenge is an awesome time and it gets a 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching.